All right, welcome back to Sunrise Today. Well, that is not what we're going to start off with, actually. We are going to start off with the back and forth that is going on between within the People's Democratic Party, where the Benue State Governor, Mr. Samuel Otom, not exactly happy with his presidential candidate in his party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, concerning some comments that were made. So I think that if we do have that report, we would just like to take a look at that before we go on, because thereafter we'll equally just have some other responses, because the presidential candidate equally spoke. So we'll be bringing all of that to you in a moment. But in the meantime, we've got Senator Fred Otti, who is a member of Minda Leaders of Thought. He joins us virtually from Makurdi. They were the group that spoke up about the displeasure on what transpired. And then Matthias Sado is a member of the PDP, while he himself was a former presidential candidate of the ADP. Gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us today on the program. But we'll just go ahead and double check if we can bring you that report now.
The march towards the Nigerian presidency is fraught with challenges, of which those with their hats in the ring have their fair share. And for the People's Democratic Party, the decision of Benue State Governor Samuel Otom and elder statesmen of the party in Benue State to withdraw support for presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar must raise eyebrows. It begins with a group of elder statesmen converging on Makurdi, the Benue State capital, over comments attributed to the PDP candidate. As a spokesman for the group says how on October the 16th, at a forum in Kaduna, Mr. Atiku Abubakar allegedly criticized Governor Samuel Otom.
Alhaji Atiku reiterated that, and we quote, "I had a big quarrel with Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State on his accusation of Fulani people. I said, I am Fulani. Why should you categorize all Fulanis? We have to improve ways and manners we look at our livestock. I am angry with Otom for profiling Fulanis as bandits and terrorists," quote and unquote.
He adds his disaffection over Alhaji Abubakar's alleged previous comments on a similar issue.
It is unfortunate that while well-meaning political figures of Fulani extraction who are in other political camps, such as the governor of Katsina State, Alhaji Aminu Masari, who has averred that, I quote, "majority of those involved in this banditry are marauding Fulanis, whether it is palatable or not, because this is the truth." One would have expected this statement of fact to come from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
For Governor Samuel Otom, he does not hide his chagrin, as he also accuses the PDP presidential candidate of a misstep in constituting his campaign council.
It was not correct for a presidential candidate who is seeking to rule the people to say that kind of a thing. It was very wrong. And it will appear that he doesn't even reference me and consider me to be a governor of my state. I'm not in his campaign team, nothing there I'm aware. The people they appointed here, no consent from me, and so on. So me, I remain my own, but I'm waiting. When the election comes, we shall vote the election according to the election.
It remains to be seen in the days ahead how the PDP will resolve its issues to improve the party's chances in the presidential race.
All right, gentlemen, Senator Otti, well, you're aware of this because it was your group that read out that communique. So there are those who think that this is not actually just about his comments, as the group says it is, because when the governor also says that he was left out, it appears as though you're just following up from where they left off, not being happy with Atiku Abubakar concerning the disagreement or concerning the chairman of the PDP. Senator Otti, that's for you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Go ahead. As a question.
Yeah, I'm saying that for those there are those within your party themselves who think that this is not just about the comments that your group credits Atiku Abubakar to have made about the herdsman, that there's much more to this than just that comment.
We feel that there is much more to it than that comment he made. We were surprised that at the Arewa House in Kaduna, that kind of comment was uncalled for, especially from someone who is campaigning to lead this country. Especially from someone who is campaigning to lead this country, and more so because of the relationship we have with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate. He is our own, he is the Zegemule of Tiv, the shield, the big shield of the Tiv people. And so when that came out, we were surprised that one of our own will bring up such a matter, even though he says he's Fulani, but we don't think it had come to that matter, because other people throughout the Federation have commented on what the herdsmen are doing, not only in Benue, but throughout Nigeria. And so for him to choose to identify Governor Tom on this matter, it's uncalled for and is disappointing from someone who is our own.
All right, we will take a further look at that in a moment, but let me ask Mr. Saido, what do you make of how this matter has been contextualized?
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. I don't know if you can hear me.
Go ahead.
This particular issue as regards to how matters have been in the PDP, the leaders of the party, it's rather disappointing that almost every single statement that comes out from people as it is at the moment, everybody is just looking for a way to hit the candidate or hit the party. We are a party that is positioned to rescue the country. This is our assignment. This is our focus. This is our goal. The conversation around whether somebody said something, sometimes mostly what we are seeing is a situation of a relationship gone sour, and because of that, even whatever one is doing now is being seen as something that is getting unnecessary attention from the people. Just like the case of a married couple who feel that things are not going well with them, and then even the way the wife walks or the way the husband talks, the position he sits in the house begins to irritate the other person. And I think our leaders are not helping us, because some of us young people came into this political party because we believe that we have something to offer the country. The candidate has attracted
pardon me, Mr. Sado. Just a minute. Yeah. Senator Oti, I'd like you to listen to this and see if it is the same subject matter, and then let's see how to contextualize that. Just have a listen to this for a minute. All right, that is not coming through yet, but it's actually a tape of the presidential candidates of the PDP, where he was talking about what the Minda said he spoke about. Because what we heard from that particular piece was him saying the governor should not generalize and paint every Fulani man in the same brush. That, for instance, even the governor himself also said there are certain persons from Tiv who were also caught stealing some of his own personal produce, that since that was the case, would he then generalize that all thieves were guilty of the same scenario? That is the context of which that tape spoke about. But I'm not sure if that is the same thing that Minda leaders of thought are talking about here.
What we are complaining about is about his mention, particular mention of Governor Otom. Governor Otom has never said generalize this thing on all Fulanis. He has always chosen his words carefully by saying that what actually always happens. And in most cases, Mieti Allah has always claimed responsibility in the killings here and what has been going on here. And so he is not generalizing it. He's placed it completely on Fulanis that have claimed responsibility. He did not say that it is every Fulani man is bad, because we have had other Fulani people we campaigned with. We have had in the past, we have had Shagari, who is Fulani man. He started his campaign here. We have had also other presidents of Fulani stock. And so there is no way a Benue man will generalize what is happening on all Fulanis.
You know, so this is going to be a bit difficult now, because I know that this is something that is very sensitive for the people of Benue, and it's also very sensitive for the whole of Nigeria in general. What has been going on, the so-called farmer-herders clashes that has claimed a lot of lives. But in this instance, wouldn't you say that your decision is rather hurried? Because it might seem that, given what your leader, the person who spoke, quoted, that perhaps the words that the PDP presidential candidate were said to have uttered might not be true or correct.
Well, the words were quoted from the text of the conversation. So we here will accept what we see on the text of the conversation and no more.
We're still trying to see if we can get that actual tape for you, because, I mean, you have been very specific about the venue where he was said to have uttered these particular words that have offended you, you know, really, really bad. You know, but while we're trying to do that, you know, if the context is that he has a problem with generalization, you know, isn't that a fair criticism of, you know, the words that Governor Otom might have spoken?
No, what we're saying that General Otom has never generalized, Governor Otom has never generalized his statements on other people. That is why we told you that we have had to do with other Fulani people who campaigned and came into power. We have never had this.
When you say that Governor Otom has never generalized, is it that he doesn't say the Fulanese are responsible for whatever has happened, or does he say some Fulanese are responsible? Is that what he says?
He said some Fulanis. He doesn't say that the Fulanis, all Fulanis are responsible. And in most cases, he will say the Fulanis who are marauding now with the AK-47 coming from outside this country.
Do you think that those words, I mean, because some people would have said that, and I know it's not just the vice presidential candidate of the party, beg your pardon, the presidential candidate of the party who has taken objection to the words of Governor Otom. A number of people before now had also taken objection to how, you know, he's also addressed the issue of the herdsmen crisis which Benue had to undergo. And, you know, I've always asked that he temper his words. This is not the first time. So if that has been the situation, and you know, you also have a presidential candidate in his party who feels offended by that, isn't that to be expected?
Well, we're talking about a particular case. You're now generalizing it, except you mention an instance where somebody has complained that he is generalizing the mention of Fulanis. But here, we know that whenever he's talking, wherever we are, he will say the Fulanis that are marauding with the AK-47, those that are coming from outside Nigeria. And so, except you mention a particular case where someone has complained that he's generalizing the matter. I think what people complain about Otom is that he, being the person who is who has the load on his head as governor of the people, is always, and whenever there is this attack, he will always come out. And people say that he's always quick in coming out. But he's coming out, he's quick in coming out because of what happens to him, because of what happens to this state. That is what people have been complaining about. They have never complained that he is not being specific.
Can I ask if you still have, because there's some people who have said that, you know, remember also that when you had the ranching law, the law against open grazing, there was some complaint, there were some complaints against that particular law. Some people felt that it was rather draconian, and that it had the potential to exclude a certain group of people whose main livelihoods were through this process of keeping livestock. And for a number of people who have paid a visit to Benue in recent times, they say that they rarely see any people, will I say, of Fulani extraction living in many areas of Benue. Is that true?
There are Fulani people living in some areas of the state. The Fulani people cannot be in all areas of the state because they come in. They are not domiciled here. And so, if you come to Benue, definitely you will find some Fulani men, some Fulani people around Benue. But not all the people in Benue are Fulanis, because Fulanis come, and in those, they come and go. They come during certain seasons and go. What the law said about this was that, look, the modern way of animal husbandry, animal farming, is for you to put your animals together. It is not for you to allow animals to wander and eat other people's crops, which is what is the problem. If you come to Benue now, these animals go in people's farms and eat their crops. And so the Benue that used to be the food basket of the nation is declining because people can no longer go to the farms. The people have even left the villages, the countryside, and moved to towns in their neighborhood. So the law, which some people were complaining, the whole of Nigeria now seem to have adopted the principles of the law and have made the laws in their states all over Nigeria. Both north and south. And so, if you're talking about the law, this is a law that has generally been accepted. At least the principles have been accepted. That is why other people have accepted it in their own states.
Pado, this next question. Now, you've listened to all that's been said, and you're probably aware of the comments made by the presidential candidate of your party. And even though you have said, I mean, it's perhaps an attempt to give a dog a bad name in order to label it, in order to kill it, but then there are those who would reference the statements he made as being, sectional and consequently appealing to certain sentiments against another, especially in the light of things that have been happening before now. How do you respond to that?
Things that is why.
No, sorry, that's for Mr. Sado, please.
The governor is complaining.
That's for Mr. Sado, please. Mr. Matthias Sado, can you hear me?
Yeah, please. Ayo, please, can you repeat your question, please?
I said, the statements that were made by your candidate, the presidential candidate of your party, there are those who would view it as divisive, something to appeal to certain sentiments against another, especially in the light of issues that the presidential candidate of your party has had with the governor of Benue State.
Well, you see, Ayo, like a lot of people have said, it is quite very easy for people that are having issues or differences to always read meanings to statements that are issued or statements that are made by.
But those comments were very clear, Mr. Sado. Just a second. Those comments were very clear that he made. He really did say that he had a big quarrel with the governor of Benue State, Governor Otom, because of the sentiments he expressed about Fulanis. And of course, you've also heard, that the governor of Benue State say he's not generalizing because he even has people of Fulani extraction in his government.
If you allow me,
go ahead, please.
If you allow me, the presidential candidate had, at the meeting in Kaduna, which I was there, had proposed that in a conversation with his own people, with the Fulanis or the Northerners, had made the mention of the fact that he has 1,000 heads of cattle and that they have not moved anywhere. And in his conversation with Governor Otom, he has also mentioned that, look, we must provide, or we must be able to proffer better solutions to our livestock businesses. Now, if he said he had a big quarrel with Governor Otom because of the fact that he has always referred to the Fulanis as the headsmen or as the terrorist group and all that, you and I can have a conversation about, look, myself and Ayo had an argument, we had a quarrel over this issue because of the way he has presented this issue. But in going forward, what is the solution to the problems that we are having as a people? I do not think that what Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had said is that he wants to go and fight Governor Otom. If he said, I've had big quarrel with Governor Otom, it's like saying that I have had a discussion with, and I believe this is what he was trying to pass across. We are trying to look for solution to these problems. But look, like we said, these are all distractions to the problems that are facing the country, that this man has been able to put on the table the solutions to the problems. Why are we now so bothered about these issues that we are not even we are losing focus on the most important issues?
Exactly the reason, Mr. Sado. Just a question. Just a moment, Mr. Sado. No. I'll allow you. That same question that you raised is the question that I was going to follow up on, because why is this so much of a big deal
when it's not a big deal? Well, you'll respond to that when we return from this break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Well, we still have our guests online. But Mr. Sado, still back to you. If you say it is not such a big deal that we are losing focus, I don't think that's the same way the Minda leaders of thought saw it, because they literally left their home bases to go to the capital to make a statement.
Ayo, thank you very much. You see, like what I said, these are, with all due respect to my elder in Benue State, I'm reaching you right now live from Bida, my home, my federal constituency, and the street is. We can see the love that people have for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar on the street of Bida. A lot of people are expressing a rekindled hope in the Nigerian state, in the Nigerian government. And this is why we are saying our elders, if there are issues that need to be resolved, why go to the media all the time? Why not just look for back channels to solve the problems if your agenda or idea is not to bring down the party or bring down the candidate that has so much to offer the Nigerian people? I have listened to Governor Wike, I have listened to Governor Otto, I have listened to our elders. Some of us, the young people that are in this political party, our focus and our drive and our desire is to be able to rescue this country. And this is a big distraction for us at every attempt that we make to make things work. Let all the other conversations about statements that are being made by certain people that you are not happy with, let it be resolved as behind the scenes. Not necessarily everything have to come to the media to come and talk about these issues. These issues are beginning to take the position of the issue of unemployment that has ravaged the society, flood that has devastated so many people and left people or the homeless, hunger that is on the street of the country, unemployment, insecurity that has so much destroyed this nation. The focus is let these things be on the front burner, not every minute coming out to say we are not going to support you. Let me tell Nigerians one fact. We are not doing Alhaji Atiku Abubakar a favor by supporting him or electing him as the president of Nigeria. We are doing ourselves a favor to be able to elect a man that can that can address the issues, the problems that are bedeviling this country. The man that can create an environment for businesses to thrive, a man that can create millions of jobs for young people, and we can create wealth for our people. This is what this is about.
But Mr. Sado, while you have a point, just a second, Mr. Sado, while you have a point making these statements, if you can hear me, while you have these things that you're saying are valid, is the same promise every politician, everyone who wants to be president of Nigeria has made over the years, and Nigerians still have this. But to have divisive comments come from someone, I mean, you also heard, the governor of Benue State saying he didn't expect someone who wants to govern the country to be making such statements, that it was divisive and not something that unifies. In your opinion, is there any better way to have managed those statements that he made, even though, I mean, the situation is out there right now?
This is what I'm saying, Ayo.
Yeah, so that
if the governor of Benue State felt that the kind of comment that was made by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was not something that was he liked, there's a back channel to which if in all honesty, what he said is what he meant. If it was not a plan for him to attack his person on the media, he would have been able to resolve or reach out to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar behind the scene and have a conversation. But when you come out in a competition, in a race for leadership, where you are running against other political parties, if you are coming out as a political party to bring down your own political party, what are you trying to do? What message are you passing across? That's what I'm saying.
We can hear Senator Oti itching to just jump in, but we're actually winding down now, gentlemen. But Senator Oti, is this the Benue State Governor's way or Benue PDP's way of simply telling the presidential candidate of the PDP that they will not vote for him?
If you read our statement didn't say that we were not.
They have not commenced the program yet. Okay, they haven't commenced.
The statement didn't say that we were not.
But they have connected.
Okay, Mr. Sado, just hang on a minute, Mr. Sado. Go on, Senator.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Go on, Mr. Senator Oti.
The statement didn't say that we were not going to vote our presidential candidate. All of us that came together to talk on this matter are PDP members in Benue State. All that we were saying that we were surprised. If you read the statement, towards the end of the statement, before the conclusion, we had said that when Alhaji Atiku came out, we were happy that he has come out. He will rescue the country from the hands of the APC bad government. So all that we were waiting for was for him to come as he will come and launch his campaign here. But we were surprised that the man who we thought would come and rescue this country is making statements that are not uniting the country together.
All right, Senator, we need to wind down. So just basically, could you tell us point blank, will the presidential candidates of the PDP get the votes of the PDP in Benue State?
Of course, the presidential candidate needs to do more to get the votes in Benue State.
So at the moment, will he get it?
At the moment, no. We are politicians. We cannot say that conclusively. That's not wise. But that's not what we are saying. All of you are misquoting what the elders here talked about. Please don't misquote it. Go through the statement we made and get it right. That is our mind. We didn't say that for now we will not vote for him. No.
Well, Senator, we're not misquoting anything. We brought you to explain what was said. That's simply what we're doing. We're not quoting anything.
Yes, what was said is in our mind. We played the tape
of your leader on the program, so we didn't quote him. So those tapes can't lie. Those were his own words. So there's nothing misquoting here.
No, what you asked was whether he will not get the votes of Benue people. Yeah. I said no. He's a politician. He will always come around. Politicians, when you make a mountain out of molehill, they go around and settle their matters.
Mr. Sado,
so we know that.
Senator, we need to go. Just one quick one for Mr. Sado before we wrap up. So, given their own stance, how is this going to affect the party?
I think my elder brother had said exactly what it is. there is really nothing. It's not a big deal. These issues we're always going to have them. But my own appeal to our elders and our governors like Governor Wike, Governor Tom, and the rest of them, that issues that needs to be resolved at the back, behind the back door, should be resolved behind the back door.
All right, gentlemen, we need to go. Pardon me, we need to go. Matthias Sado, PDP Chieftain, and Senator Fred Orty, member of the Minda Leaders of Thought. Thank you, gentlemen, for your perspective this morning. So we will be back in just a moment. Join us again.